Welcome everyone. So today we're going to start talking about how to make the tray. To do that, we've got to do some groundwork. So we're going to do a drawing first that gives us a rough scale that we can kind of figure things out from. Winging this, just going in there and hammering away at Fusion, is probably a really bad idea. So let's do this first. All right. So we know that our tray is going to be about the width and length of our box. For me, my box is 15 by 15. So quickly I'm going to use my ruler here, and I'm going to just draw a square that's way over here in the corner and towards the bottom. And I'm just going to draw it 15 centimeters. I don't really care if it's perfect. I just want to get it, ish close. And if you do it to about the right dimensions, I'm going to do that on all four sides. Your dimensions, obviously, are something different. Use your dimensions. And just by getting relatively close, I'll be able to get a feel for the different compartments I want to build into the tray. So far, so good. I'm not going to put a measurement here because it's not going to actually be 15. If I made it 15, it wouldn't fit in the box. So we'll talk about what this distance is. Well, let's do that now, actually. So this overall distance. Remember, the outside of my box, for me, is 15 centimeters. So I want to start with that width here. So this is the front, so this is the width of the box. I'm going to do the width, but I want it to be inside the box. So I need to make it two thicknesses of plywood, one for the left piece and one for the right piece, two thicknesses short of a full width. But if I do that and anything is off by a tiny bit, the tray still may not fit. So I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and I'm going to decrease the size. So I'm going to do the width minus two thicknesses, one for each side, minus an additional 0.15. So here's what it looks like. So we're going to make this the width minus 2 times thickness. That gets inside the walls of the box, minus 0.15 centimeters. That's our extra little, a little bit smaller than the box to fit in there nicely. And then so I'll finish this line off to this side so I see where it goes to. And then here is going to be a similar thing. So from here to here, I'm going to start by, I'm going to say instead this is the length, right? So length minus 2 times the thickness minus 0.15 centimeters. Then I'm going to finish my dimensioning line down to there. So now I've got my width and my length figured out. And now, so I don't have to do all this math and all this number stuff. I can just type this into Fusion. I know I'm going to do length minus the word 2 times thickness minus 0.15 centimeters. And that'll give me a little bit smaller. All right. The next thing we're going to do is figure out where our midpoint is. So in my box, there's the middle wall in the tray is going to go up a little extra high. So it's going to go like this and come up. So there's a little handle for you to grab onto and lift the tray out. And I want that for me to run sideways on my box. So if this is my front, I want that to go across here. And it needs to be right in the middle. That way when I pick it up, it's balanced and doesn't tip to one side. So I'm going to find the midpoint real quick, which should be about 7.5 centimeters. Half of 15. And I'm going to mark that. And I'm going to put here a little upside down triangle. That's the midpoint tool in Fusion. So we'll use that same symbol in our drawing. I think that might make life easier. So that's the midpoint of that side. And this is where one of the sides are going to be. So what I'm going to do is just draw a line straight across. That is going to be my main side. It's going to be my handle divider. It goes all the way across. All right. So far, so good. We've got 2 things done. Now we need to use what we have, the space we have left. So if you've got a box that's longer than it is wide, my advice to you is put the main divider with the handle on it, put it down along the long side. So if you had a longer one this way than that way, you would put it this way. If you drew it long this way, you would put it that way. You can do it the other way, but it's going to make it harder to kind of wiggle it out. Not much harder, but it's up to you. Okay. So now it's going to figure out what we want to put in here. So for me, I'm going to do like desk stuff. So I want a place for staples. So I'm just going to grab some staples. And I'm going to say, look at that. It's about like yay-ish. This one's not quite the same one. It goes in there kind of like this. I want maybe 3 layers of that. Yeah, that'll work. So right about there. Now I'm going to want some room to where I can go down. I can actually, like, you know, pick one up or something. So I might leave, well, most of this. So I'm going to leave like some extra here. So I'm not going to go tight to it. Otherwise I can't get my finger around the end of it. They'll just be all stuck in there. It'll be hard to get out. So I'm going to go like to here, and I'm going to just sketch a line down. This is going to be a wall. So now I'm going to have something small here that I can put really small stuff into. And I'm going to do the same thing. I can be a little tighter on this side because I think I'm going to stick my finger on this end and prime up this way. So I can be a little tighter on this side. And I'm just sketching in rough lines about where I think I want them. All right, what else do I want? Well, I want some thumbtacks in there. I don't need a ton of thumbtacks, so you know what? Thumbtacks might work great right in there. Look at that. Yeah, that would work great. Like, they'll fill in that little spot right there. Perfect size. So that'll be my thumbtack area. So I'm actually going to label this. I'm going to say here's staples. And here I'm going to call this thumbtacks. Is tax with a K? I don't know. TACS might be right. I think it's CK. I could be wrong about that. All right. And then I also want to get some, I want to get some paper clips in there. So let's take a look. Let's see where paper clips might fit. So, paper clips would fit there, but I don't want it to be like double the length. Otherwise, it'll just be a big mess. I want them nice and organized. So I'm actually going to, I might have a hard time getting anything out of that small of a thing, but I'm going to try it. So I'm going to actually cut this in half. Okay, so, and this is going to be P-clips. All right, so that's my paperclip one, or my two sections for paper clips. So they'll just fit just nicely and just like that. And then I might want to do some rubber bands because I use rubber bands quite often. So I'm going to just go like this. I'm going to say, okay, so right about yay is rubber bands. Ish, kind of good. Not too bad. And I've got one more container here. I don't know that I have really that much else. It might be nice to have something for USB drives. Just like an extra little container here. So this is rubber bands. So you do the same thing. Get a collection of things that you might be putting in this tray and just feel like, might as well make it like perfect for you, right? Get a feel for what you want to put in there. And then here, I think I'm going to save this one for USB drives because I have several of those I need to keep organized on my desk. All right, so that's my overall plan. So now I'm going to push my stuff off. I'll put all that away later. I'll push it off to the side. And now I need to start taking some measurements. Now, I don't know exactly how big this side is. I know that it's about 15. So I'm going to put down here, it's actually about 15 centimeters. And this curly kind of equal sign means about, approximately. And for me, this one's approximately 15. Write yours down as well. Okay, so what that means is I need to measure this first one. And this first one, I know I want to be the certain size, right? My leftover side's kind of over here with the thumbtacks. I don't care how big that is exactly. And I measure this one, and this one needs to be 12.3 centimeters. 12.3 centimeters from here to here. I'm going to draw my line in to make it clear what my dimensioning line is for. And then this one, I don't need to even measure I don't want to measure what this one is because I don't know what the overall size is. What this tells me is this one has to be 12.3, but then whatever's left over is whatever's left over. So I don't have to worry about that one. All right. Now in this one, I've got 3 boxes to deal with. And actually, and this is the midpoint. So this wall here is fixed in place. So what I'll do is I'll just measure this wall here. And I'm going to do it on the inside of the drawing because on the outside it doesn't have very good. So I'm going to use the little arrows to show that it goes to that edge. I'm going to draw down here. Then I'm just going to measure this one. This is the one I really care about. It's got to be the right size for my staples. And I'm seeing there, that's about 4.6. So 4.6 centimeters. Oh, excuse me. And now this one, I don't care because this is at a midpoint. So whatever's left over on this half of the box, we'll just go for the paperclip container. I don't want to try and measure that because I won't get it right if I do. And then this other one is just the other half of the box. So I don't even need to write this down, right? This is going to be whatever the other half is. And it's not going to be 7.5 because I'm going to do 15 minus 2 thicknesses minus this. It's going to be whatever that is. I'll just leave it. I don't need to worry about it. And then this direction, I need to find one of these. So I'm going to say, you know what? This one was about 8.5. So I'm going to do 8.5 centimeters. And that's the only one I have to find. And then I need to find where this bar is, right? And that's going to be the midpoint of this line. So right here, I'm just going to put an indicator right here that it's at the midpoint. So yeah, when I do it in Fusion, what I'll do is I'll go over 12.3 centimeters. I'll make this wall. And then I'll go down from this corner 4.6 centimeters. I'll make this wall touching it. And then I'll find the midpoint of this one and make this wall. Oh wait, I'll take that back. I'm going to start here in the middle. I'm going to make this middle one first, this overall wall first. Then I'll make this one, and then this one, and then the midpoint makes this one. And then I'll go over 8.5 centimeters and make this wall. And then all my walls will be done. I'll have to do the outside walls as well. And then the middle one, the bigger one. So yeah, that'd be cool. So that's what we need for there. Now we have to talk about what the depth is going to be. So for depth, I'm going to flip it over on the, and this is the, let's mark what this is. Top of tray. All right, so that's the top of the tray. I'm going to, on the back, I'm going to write out, I'm going to do a quick drawing for the box. And I'm going to do this one to scale. So I'm just going to do the front view of the box. Because what I need to do is I need to figure the depth now. So I'm going to do 15 centimeters over. Whoops. 15 centimeters over. Again, I'm going quickly. Now my box depth is only 7.5 centimeters deep. So there's the depth of the box. And 15 centimeters this way. I think that's pretty good. Like, I'm not too worried about anything being perfect at this point. I'm just trying to get a rough sketch. Okay, so that's 7.5 centimeters from there to there. And this is 15 centimeters, and these numbers are exact. I made them this size. And then box and lid, both from the front. So the lid for me was only 3 centimeters. So I'm going to draw it as 3 centimeters. And this just helps me figure out what I'm doing. Okay. And this one I'm going to put a measurement here of 3 centimeters. And then down here, I'm going to just draw in, actually, should draw it all the way across. This is that little lip that holds the box, or the lid, onto the box. All right, so this fits down into the box there. And this part here is 0.5 centimeters. So now what I'm going to do is draw in what I want the box to be and figure out what depths I can use. Because our tray is going to fit into the box, but not all the way to the bottom. So first thing I'm going to do is do a dashed line about like yay-ish. That's that first ½ centimeter that the lid needs to fit down into. So I got to make sure my tray isn't inside that, or it'll sit on the tray instead of the box. So this is at least 0.5 centimeters. In fact, I want it to be a little bit more than that because this may not be exactly 0.5. It might be a little more just from construction stuff. So at least 0.5, and I'm going to up that number in a second. And then I want at least, let me just look on here and say, like, figure out something you want to put on the bottom. For me, I'm going to put Gosh, I can't find it now. So I've got, oh yeah, right here. Oh. I want to put a roll of tape in the bottom, and it is 2.5 centimeters thick. So I need at least that much space from the bottom for the thing. So I'm going to actually go like 4, maybe 3.5 centimeters. So I'm going to come up 3.5 centimeters. That's where my tray is going to begin, I think. Let me just make sure the math all works. And this is something you just have to play with. Like, you got to play with the numbers to get something that works. So this is the, what did I say, 3 centimeters? 3.5. So from here to here is 3.5 centimeters. So that's the bottom container of the box, the bottom section of the box. And then from here to here, I'll figure out how much is left over for the actual tray. So if I take 0.5 centimeter off for where the lid fits in, add that to the 3.5 centimeters down here, I've used up 4 centimeters of my box, which means I have 3.5 centimeters left. So I'm going to actually just make this 3 centimeters my tray. So this is the tray depth. So my tray will fit right inside here like this. So I'm going to go 3 centimeters above here actually and hit a dashed line over. Maybe I'll just draw it really faint. I'm going to draw a little bit smaller than the size because I'm going to show it actually having fit in there. And it's going to go right down to this. This is my tray. And now the middle wall of my tray is going to actually come up like this. It's going to do something like this. And it's going to come back down to like that. And there'll be a little hole here that we cut in. And something like this. So that's our tray. And the thing to make sure is that this height here down to, let me do it from this height here down to the top here. Now that's going to be like, this part is going to be right here on this corner, right? So we have 3 centimeters to work with above here. So I want to make sure that this stays under, I actually have 4 centimeters to work with, but I don't want to get very close. So I'm going to say that needs to stay 3 centimeters or less. So my handle has to get in 3 centimeters or less. It has to happen in that distance. So at this point, we've made enough decisions. Your numbers will be different than mine. Don't worry about that. Like, that is the way it's going to be. You're designing your own tray. I'm just showing you the general steps to it. And how to make sure that you don't build a tray that you put the lid on it, the lid hits the tray before it closes. Like, that's going to be embarrassing. You don't want to do that. So that's where we want to be with everything. We're ready for fusion now. Let's do it.